Brand new pickup trucks cost a lot of money. Don't believe me? Just look in the comment section under pretty much any brand new truck review and you'll see that everyone agrees trucks cost way too much money. That's not a brand new truck. That thing's 10 years old. And if I wanted to configure one just like it today, I'd be out about $55,000, which that's a lot of money. Now I'm shuffling some things around here in my life, and as a result of shuffling those things around, I kind of need another pickup truck. It's a long story, and I'm not spending any $55,000. That's not even an option for me. So I wanted to look at how cheap I can get away with making a truck that's still nice. Now the good thing for me is I don't need much out of that truck. It doesn't need to be super fast. It doesn't even need four-wheel drive. I just need a utility. And so I went out and looked on Craigslist and Marketplace and all the other places you look for cars, and I found that. That's a 2003 F-150, and I spent $500 on it. In this video, and probably a couple other ones subsequent to it, I'm going to show you what 500 bucks buys you in a truck, what you can do to bring it back and make it pretty nice, and we'll discuss whether or not you really need $55,000 or more worth of truck to get your work done. Let's take a look. This here is a 2003 Ford F-150. They made these from 1997 through 2004. There was kind of an overlap in 2004 as they were switching over to the newer body style. The nice thing with getting a 2003 is that unlike earlier editions, this one has a few little updates done to it that the earlier ones didn't. Example, it has disc brakes in the back. It has four-wheel ABS. The earlier versions of this truck didn't, and that may or may not be important to you, but we get winter here, and I did want ABS at least. As you can see, it's got this kind of handle. I don't love or hate these. They just are what they are. Doesn't bug me a whole lot. That one over there is missing a handle. That's a pretty cheap fix. We've got a back seat. And one of the things that's a little bit bothersome in here is that, yeah, that's mold. That's mold that's growing on it. We're going to have to do a little something to remediate that because there's also a bit more here, a bit more there. Yeah. Don't worry, it's not going to jump to your screen. You're not going to get anything from that. Driver's seat has got the usual tearage and rippage. This thing has 262,000 miles, by the way. That is shiny. That's had a lot of elbow on it. There's this thing here, which I'm going to assume that was probably used to clean out a smoking pipe of some sort. That's all I can imagine that it was used for. And then this is the interesting part. I haven't pulled this stuff out of here yet, but I figured I'd get it on video. There is a Samsung phone. I'm probably going to get some sort of cooties or something from touching this, but I think it's, I looked it up before and it's like an A13. So it's a Samsung Galaxy A13. Screen's cracked, or at least the screen protector is cracked. I haven't tried booting it up because I don't want it to report its location and maybe the previous owner to know where my house is. There's this, which I think you use to make tea. It's kind of weird. It doesn't look like it has anything. There's no like sticky stuff in it. There's this bracelet. There is a rubber bouncy ball. There's this, which looks like it's a cologne maybe. There's this. Is that a 357? I think that's a 357 Magnum. There's a dime and some little pieces of cardboard. Looks like that's it for that. Down there we've got a trailer hitch receiver thing, and that is Dallas Cowboys, and that is a cork gasket material, I think for maybe like a transmission or something. Let's look at what's in here. We've got lighter. Yep, that's been used. Well, we'd expect that. In here we've got ashtray and some slime. That is a radio. I googled that. That is currently for sale on Walmart.com for $29. That is a $29 radio, and I'm sure it's wonderful. We've also got some Supernova to get the stink in here. We've got something missing up here. I think there's supposed to be like maybe a compass or something. I don't know what's going on up there, but there's something going on missing up there. These don't have anything in them, but they're very loose and gross, so I'm not going to drop them down. Before we can make ourselves a list of all the stuff this truck needs to be a good truck again, we're going to have to just get it down to some baseline level of clean. I'm not going to do like a final, polish and everything on it. I just want to get it so that it's not a petri dish, so I can look at the truck as it is with all the gack knocked off of it, So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is just take out the entire interior, take out the flooring, take out the seats. It's actually not that difficult. The one part that if you're following along in this kind of process with your own vehicle, if you're not a real stout person, you're going to have a hard time pulling the seats out by yourself because they are substantially heavy. You're going to want to get some friends. If you're built stout, just pull them out. You know what you're doing. And in addition to taking out the interior and cleaning everything really well, this was a good time to add some sound deadener because, of course, this is a base model truck. It's not a luxury truck. It's also from an earlier era of vehicles being manufactured, so there's really just not a whole lot of sound deadening in there. You can kind of see that there's like this swirly stuff that they sprayed down, and that's some sound deadener. But on the bigger panels, I went ahead and put down some sound deadener that I happen to have left over from another project, and then I put the interior back in. So that's with the truck like that. I also cleaned underneath the hood. I got to get my scrubbing bubbles because that stuff just works awesome. I used a combination of the scrubbing bubbles. I used some Castile soap. I used just a lot of water and some brushing back and forth. I also got up underneath the truck and I sprayed around underneath there for quite a while with the pressure washer. And if you're about to type into the comments right now that I just washed away all of my rust prevention, you're right, we're on the same page on this. Don't worry, we'll get back to that. So with that done, let's just start a list on what this truck needs. Starting from the front of the truck, it's really not that bad. You can see here that the front bumper has a lot of rusted pock marks and whatever on it, so this is going to have to get just removed from the truck, sanded down, repainted. That's going to be an easy job. You can also see that there's some places where the paint isn't ideal here, so I might start working on a little bit of paint there as well. You can also kind of see inside there the AC condenser is smashed down real good, and that means that air can't get through there, both for cooling efficiency and for air conditioning efficiency. So I'm probably going to look at replacing that. Maybe not right away, but that's a pretty early priority, I think, once it's just running correctly. I did mention running correctly. It had in the advertisement that it needs a new engine, and the engine runs. But yeah, we'll see about that. I also noticed in here that there is a light that the previous owner installed inside the grill area. I don't know what the deal is with that. I haven't investigated it, but it's probably coming out because I don't really have any need for that to be there. Aside from that, headlights are yellow, and while I could probably polish these guys up, it's pretty affordable to just buy new ones that look a lot prettier, so those are just going to go away. We'll look under the hood in a minute. The tires on it, these are from 2016, so they're pretty close to 10 years old. They're also pretty, worn out and chipped and everything, so that's going to be a pretty early replace. Not a terrible deal. The body's straight, and there's really not any body rust. Inside here, all the body plastics are pretty good. The handles and everything all work, so I'm not going to really have to mess around with that. There is some dirt and gack inside here, so if I ever take this panel off, I want to clean that really well. The insides of the windows are reasonably gross, and the front ones have something on them. There's like I don't know if you can hear that. There's something going on that. I don't know if it's from vaping or what, but there's something that needs to get scraped off, and I started scraping the other side. This fabric is kind of jacked here, but it's not too bad. This was just the product of me taking the pressure washer to it, and I got most of the slime out, but this here is ripped, and that is ripped. I was able to find replacements for the seat bottom fabric, but I can't find replacements for the seat back fabric, so that part's unfortunate. This seat fabric pattern here was apparently part of the so-called sport package, which this truck came with. The sport package has a tachometer, this fabric pattern, this sticker on the back, and those wheels, which are aluminum. They look like steel wheels, but they're aluminum, and I don't know if I'll keep them or not. I kind of like them in a nostalgic sort of way. This thing does have crank windows. We might investigate going power in the future. I want to feel that luxury. It also has manual locks, which we'll have to see about that in the future too. Back here there is this reversing light, which looks like it's a twin to the thing that's underneath the hood. I haven't looked into the wiring too much on it, but it also has a 4-flat connector here. We'll see if that works later on. It's got a trailer hitch. This is an aftermarket hitch from Kurt, so it's not actually a factory installed piece. This guy here looks like it's been kind of jacked and doesn't lock, but we'll maybe investigate that. Also, that is non-functional. It's got no gas left in it, and the other side doesn't even have a lift at all, so I've got to just muscle this up. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this tonneau or not. I may end up selling it. It's in good shape. It's just that it's heavy, and I'm not sure if this is going to suit my future needs. Interior of this is in good shape. It's not bed lined, but it's also not too beat up and doesn't have rust in it. So I'm probably going to clean this up real good and spray in some bed liner later on. This is one thing that really plagues all of these trucks, and that is the Prindle stick is super sloppy. So you can see here that I'm not sure what gear I'm in. Am I in neutral, or am I in drive, am I in second or first? It's really inaccurate. And what's going on there is that not only is the cable capable of stretching, but also just inside here, there's like a tube thing that transmits this rotational force from this forward to where the cable connects. And that has a couple bushings that can get lunched up. So we're gonna go ahead and take this apart, and we're gonna see if that needs to be replaced. Thankfully, parts are available for it. Oh look, my overdrive off light works. Neat. Oh, she wants to start up. And that's what she looks like underneath the hood now that I've had a chance to wash it quite a bit. So underneath the hood here, we're going to have to drain the coolant on it. We're also going to do a gravity bleed of the braking system. And I have not yet inspected the service brakes at the wheels. They're not really visible through the wheels exactly. There's not a way to get a good eyeball through there, but they're going to have to get addressed at some point. We'll get to that when we get to it. It's going to need a transmission fluid change. Oil change is a foregone conclusion because this motor is coming out of here. And aside from that, just kind of general maintenance going on. I don't think that it's going to really need a whole lot else under here. Power steering fluid change, but again, that'll happen when we take the engine out. Air conditioner is complete. I mean, it's present. I haven't checked it for pressure. Again, not really a big deal because I'm going to be replacing that front condenser assembly. We're going to have to do some windshield wipers because those blades are toast. It's got a bit of rust right up here inside these rails, so we're going to have to clean that up, repaint it, and then put some molding in it. I don't know anything about the condition of the suspension on this thing, so it's going to have to get kind of analyzed once it starts being able to drive, but the brakes do function, and it seems like it's going to be capable of stopping itself. The shock absorbers seem as good as they're going to get for the time being, because when I try to bounce on it, it doesn't just bounce endlessly. Depending on your relationship with older vehicles, you might be thinking to yourself, you just spent $500 on something you're going to have to put a lot of money into in order to make it nice and reliable. You might also be thinking, hey, you got all that truck for $500. That's not too bad. Put a little money into it. It'll be nice and reliable, which is two ways of saying kind of the exact same thing. The difference being, of course, that if you're looking at it from a purely capitalistic perspective, where you're going to buy something, put some work into it, and then you're going to try and sell it off to someone and make a profit, there's no profit there. These things are really not worth that much unless you had a unique one like an SVT Lightning or something like that. If you took the base model and you made it as good as it possibly can be or made it brand new, not really worth that much money to other people because other people don't generally fix things up. There's kind of a glut of classic cars out there, really. Like there's only so many things people are going to collect, and nobody wants like a high mileage thing even if it's been brought back for collector purposes. However, as a reliable vehicle to just daily drive and take advantage of, and especially take advantage of the fact that they sold millions of these things, which means that you can long-term own it. You can just keep fixing it and long-term own it. That's not a bad platform. And I would urge you, when you're spending money on restoring something or fixing something, spend based upon what you want the vehicle to be after you've spent the money, not based on what you spent to buy it in the first place. Because I only spent $500 on this, and there are some people I know who would say, you only spent $500 on it, it's only worth $500, it's only ever going to be worth $500, and so you shouldn't spend more than $500 on fixing it. That's not the way I look at it. To me, it's going to be a resource that would cost me maybe $5,000 or $6,000 to replace after I'm done with it, and so I might as well spend that money up front, and then I'll end up with something, and then I'll know its history. I'll know that it's got a new engine in it. I'll know that it's got a new this and a new that, and everything else will be as good as I expect it to be. And that'll make it worth, I mean, it's not going to be priceless, but you know what I mean? It's going to be worth a value that's hard to put a number on. And so I've ordered a new engine from Mabco down in Texas, a remanufactured engine. I ordered it with a few little upgrades. Since you can call them on the phone, you can add some stuff to it. And so I ordered it with hyper-eutectic pistons and Molle rings. Those are both just lower friction, lower thermal expansion parts, and so they make the engine work a little bit more efficiently. Anyway, I've got some work that I got to do on that thing now. So thanks for checking in, and I'll see you next time.